Welcome to Travel Nation. Today we dive deep into a side of international travel that many Americans overlook: visa requirements. Yes, U.S. passport holders enjoy some of the broadest travel freedoms in the world, with access to more than 180 countries either visa-free or with simplified entry like visa on arrival. But there are still several countries that require Americans to apply for a visa in advance, with no exceptions, no airport shortcuts, and in some cases, long bureaucratic hurdles. If you're planning an international trip, this episode might just save you a canceled flight or a denied boarding. Let's begin by breaking down why these visa requirements exist. In most cases, it comes down to diplomatic reciprocity. If the United States requires visas from the citizens of a certain country, that country often requires one in return. Others are concerned with national security, immigration control, or internal stability. Some countries, particularly those with centralized or authoritarian governments, maintain strict visa protocols to manage foreign influence, surveillance, or tourism flows. The result? Americans don't have universal access. One of the most prominent examples is China. If you're traveling to Beijing, Shanghai, or any part of mainland China, you must obtain a visa beforehand. This involves submitting an application through a Chinese consulate or visa center, often including hotel bookings, flight details, a recent photo, and possibly an in-person interview or fingerprinting. Processing takes days, sometimes weeks, and it's non-negotiable. You'll be denied boarding at the airport without it. Note that Hong Kong and Macau maintain different entry policies, where Americans can enter visa-free for short stays, but this does not apply to mainland China. Next, we turn to Russia, which arguably has the most restrictive visa system for Americans. The process includes submitting a formal invitation letter, usually from a hotel or tour operator, full travel details, passport photos, and a non-refundable fee. Russian visas are not flexible. You're expected to enter and leave on the exact dates you applied for. Deviate from that, and you're at risk of being fined, denied entry, or worse. Processing can take 10 business days or more, and there are very few exceptions. Moving to India, the process is more accessible but still mandatory. India offers an electronic visa system for tourism and business, which U.S. citizens can apply for online. It requires uploading a scanned passport, photo, and personal details. The eVisa is valid for 30 or 60 days, depending on the purpose of your visit, and typically arrives within 72 hours. It's a significant improvement from the old consulate-only system, but it's still a pre-travel requirement. Vietnam also requires U.S. citizens to apply for a visa in advance, though it supports an eVisa system for 30-day, single-entry stays. It's relatively straightforward but limited. You must enter through designated ports of entry, which means spontaneous land border crossings are not an option. If you plan to stay longer or make multiple entries, you'll need to apply for a different visa through their embassy. Now let's talk about Brazil, which has changed its policy recently. In 2019, Brazil waived visa requirements for U.S. travelers. But in April 2025, they reinstated the requirement. Now, U.S. citizens must apply for an electronic visa before arrival. The process is online and costs about $80. The visa is valid for 10 years and allows 90-day visits, renewable once per year. It's relatively simple but still mandatory, and if you show up without it, you'll be turned away. Shifting to the United Kingdom, U.S. citizens have historically enjoyed visa-free travel for short visits. But that's changing. As of January 8, 2025, the UK has implemented an electronic travel authorization system, known as ETA. It's not technically a visa, but it is required before entry. It involves registering online, paying a small fee, and receiving digital approval. Without it, you won't be allowed to board a flight or pass through UK immigration. The ETA is valid for multiple entries over a 2-year period, and it applies even to brief tourism or business stays. Looking ahead, Europe is preparing its own entry authorization system. The ETIAS, European Travel Information and Authorization System, is expected to go live in late 2026. Once active, all U.S. travelers heading to Schengen countries, including France, Spain, Italy, and Germany, must apply online before arrival. ETIAS will work similarly to the US ESTA system, a small fee, online registration, and a 3-year authorization for short-term visits. Until then, Americans can still enter the Schengen area visa-free for up to 90 days in any 180-day period. Beyond these more prominent destinations, there are several countries with more complex or politically sensitive visa processes. Iran requires U.S. citizens to apply through the Pakistani embassy in Washington, D.C., and they can only travel as part of an authorized group or with a government-approved guide. Independent travel is not permitted, and the process often takes several weeks, with no guarantee of approval. Even then, American travelers risk being denied entry upon arrival. Pakistan has a digitized eVisa system, but applications are thoroughly reviewed. U.S. travelers must provide an invitation letter, passport scans, and detailed plans. Security screenings are routine, and wait times vary dramatically depending on your purpose of travel. Nigeria also requires a visa before arrival. U.S. applicants must complete an online application, show proof of accommodations, submit biometric information, and provide a yellow fever vaccination certificate. The Nigerian visa process is known for being inconsistent in turnaround times, so planning ahead is crucial. Algeria requires U.S. travelers to apply via consulate, and the application must include a detailed travel itinerary, accommodation proof, and in some cases, a personal interview. It is among the more bureaucratic visa processes in North Africa. Finally, North Korea. While North Korea technically allows Americans to apply for tourist visas through Chinese agencies, the U.S. government currently prohibits its citizens from traveling there without special permission. This ban, enforced by the State Department, is still in effect due to safety concerns and the risk of arbitrary detention. So while the visa may be possible on paper, it's effectively inaccessible for ordinary travelers. So what should you take away from all of this? First, your U.S. passport may be strong, but it's not universal. Visa requirements still exist in many parts of the world, and missing that detail could mean missing your flight. Second, always verify entry rules before traveling. Don't rely on outdated blog posts or word of mouth. Check your destination's embassy website or the U.S. State Department's travel page. Third, don't wait until the last minute. Some visas take weeks to process, and others might require interviews, additional documents, or security clearances. Treat visa planning as seriously as flights and hotels. And finally, consider travel insurance and contingencies. If your visa is delayed or denied, it can affect everything from lodging to non-refundable.